I get on my horse traveling outside of my camp. I go hunting for deer and other meat. I have story missions, but I can get to them later. I enter Big Valley. I get lost in the rolling green hills and rivers. I traverse the mountains. I find deer. I get the meat and skin them for pelts. It's late. The sun has gone down. I travel some more and make camp to bring the supplies back in the morning. That's when it stopped being a game and I truly begin to play pretend. The perfect moment when the acting, the music, the sound effects, the gameplay come together to make something special. When I feel the sun or the wind, no other medium can truly capture that. When you just step away from the story and just live in the world. No other medium can truly afford to have that kind of time dedicated to atmosphere and world building. It's called the magic circle, and when the one's world stops being pretend for those beautiful moments and becomes real, that is something amazing and wonderful. When people talk about art form and video games and them not either being worth the time, they're not like books or theater or film or ballet or other type of dance forms that I feel are more accepted as an artistic expression. They're missing something with games that games can do that no one else can do. The scene I just described from Red Dead Redemption is one of many. Because you have the autonomy and freedom to do what you want in a certain sense, in terms of just taking time to be in the world, to explore it, no other medium can truly do that. I think that's what makes excuse me. I think that's what makes adaptations so difficult is in a game world you have even in very linear games, every game has some form of collectible. You have time to really explore the worlds, to look at things, to be in the moment the way a film that sure may dedicate 20 minutes of time to world building, the way theater might have its sets and build in details, but there's always going to be things you don't see that are for the benefit of the actor, the benefit of the people making the production. So, for example, with film, you have these sets with enormous detail, but half the detail you're not going to see because all that benefit is for the performers so they can feel like they're in that world doing that. Same thing for theater. I've done both, and I've set up these details myself. And again, it's for our benefit. The difference between that and video games is you get to see the detail. You get to be in the moment. There are games like The Witcher 3, The Last of Us Part 1 and 2, and oh my goodness, the moment I start listing names, the list can be endless. But when you're playing these games, you get, when everything syncs up, when everything is perfect, you feel, you stop thinking about the outside world. That kind of magically fades away, and you get absorbed into what you're doing. To bring up Red Dead Redemption 2 again, there's a moment in the game, I'm going to try to answer this as diplomatically as possible. There's a moment in the game where you bring a person back to your camp that's been arrested, and everyone is celebrating, and you can go to sleep, you can go back to camp. You don't have to participate, but I chose to participate, and you sit down and people start singing songs, and someone else brings out a guitar. If you wait long enough, you can even join in on the singing. That's not time film or TV shows really have to dedicate. They have to keep the story going. They have pacing. They have, okay, we have to hit this beat, this beat, this beat. Sure, you can show small things like that, but it has to serve the greater narrative. Now, this moment I just described with the campfire in Red Dead 2, it does serve the greater narrative. It establishes this group of characters together. But there's so many other scenes that do that if this was in a film, it would be considered repetitive. Like, oh, we don't have time to waste that. We don't have the film real estate to dedicate to one more thing. So, cut. But as a game, you do. There's another moment like that later where one of the characters has a son. You save the son, you bring him back. Everyone gathers, and they're having this beautiful moment by the campfire. These moments, by the way, are very organic. And more than just big event game moments, you can find them. But let me get back to the moment. You save the son, you come back, you have this great moment by the fire. You can totally miss this if you get up and kind of walk around the camp. Two of them are having a fight in the corner. They're screaming about how they're not in sync anymore and how their relationship is kind of not working. But you don't, that's not something games like, hey, look over there, find that. You find that organically. You find that on your own. And how it feels just like you're in a real place, you're at a real party. You just have to take a minute to open your eyes and look. I mean, isn't that the real world too? And it's funny that when people talk about games, it's like, oh, it's not worth it. Oh, it's not worth my time. Oh, but it does one thing no other artistic medium does. It tells you and it shows you that you have to open your eyes. You have to look. You have to be present in your world, in your point of view. Look at the things around you. In theater, it's called second circle, where you're not just hanging back or tuning your mind. You're actively participating and listening and responding. In games, you really have to do the same thing. You have to be active. You can't play it passively. You have to, take the leap. You have to take the step forward. And I think this idea of the magic circle with games is not something like movies have the moment where you're like, okay, I'm in it. But it's over very quickly. It's over in a few hours. Where games, it's more than that. And again, movies can get you involved in their atmosphere, it can get you involved in the world. Theater can do the same thing. But none of them are ever going to make you feel like you're part of the world, like you're an active driving force in the world, that you get to take time and really, you are the camera, you are the drifting eye. In books, sure, you have tons of real estate on the page, but it's where the author is directing you to go. In games, you direct where you want to go. You have that option. You have the time. So I don't know if this was what I was really going on with this, but there's a beauty in the magic circle. And I think that's what makes games such a valid, wonderful, artistic medium. This is episode 41. I hope you have a wonderful day.